just the beginning, so I don't know where the bottom ends. And I don't know then how we want to restructure ourselves. We're working in teams with the CAO, some of the general managers. I've been spending a lot of my time with trying to help with ideas that have been flowing through. I would suggest many of you might want to put forth your ideas of what you think the city should look like. I don't know that they'll continue not to deal with police and fire the same way they have, but that's their decision as a leadership body. They have to make those determinations. But the reality is the numbers don't work out. You can't protect, that 70% of the budget, you can't balance the other 30% with 70. Mathematically, it doesn't work. So we've got to come to terms with some of those ideas too. Where do we stop? And even though I know a lot of people are very distressed about what's happening at DWP, it is part of the bigger picture, but it's not part of the general fund budget. And so that's where it's suffering. Many of the things that we want to do in this MOU really relate to general fund activities, general city services that deal with neighborhoods and stop signs and speed humps and those things. And we've gotten funding for some of those items from other places, but that funding is drying up now. If you look at the state situation, that gives you a big clue on the fact this isn't ending yet. The state, well, the last time I looked, it was $12 billion in the hole, and Mr. Everhart told me it was more than it's like 24. 24 billion with a B dollars. Now, you don't think they're going to come to the city and take some of our money in order to balance their budget? So the dysfunction is at every level. The same people that are in Sacramento are the same people that used to be in the city, and they go back and they circle around and they come back again. And I'm not blaming them. This is not a discussion about, leadership. These are the people that are elected to do the job. The electorate elects them to do this job. But the job is now difficult. It is more difficult than ever. And so we have to make some really, really tough decisions on what we're going to do. And I don't know at the end of the day what kind of house I'll have left, or even if I'll have a house. It could be the departments are broken up into pieces and joined together with other departments. It can be whatever makes sense in a streamlined environment, because we still have to keep the lights on. There's still going to be people working in the city, I hope, still people living in the city, we hope. So we still have to provide for them the basic amount of service. So that's why I had to come to the conclusion the energies of the department will be put in places once I figure out who they are and what strengths they have in those things that are most important. We will still continue the communications with you that we've begun. We'll still continue to try to address your most important needs. We can't address everything because we won't have enough to address it all. And we'll also, they took away all the overtime money from general fund departments, so we don't have folks that are able to get out. They have furlough days, and they took away the overtime. So it's more like we're being squeezed into a little box, like that commercial where they asked the little girl, do you want to ride the bike? And she's in a square about as big as that square right there. And that's about what we've been confined to. So it's until every general manager, I'm not the only one saying this. You got Gail saying this from the planning side. You got Rec and Park saying it. I don't know how many parks John Muckery has. How does he, if he loses tons and tons of his staff and people to fix his equipment, how does he go out and run the park? How do we open the doors of the rec centers? So the city has to decide what are the most important things as a city we want to do if we have to live with a smaller group of people. And how do we diversify? The other side of that is diversifying that group to do more things. The one thing the city's always done is kind of put people in little boxes and just say, okay, now you're a transportation engineer, you're this kind of planner, you're this kind of clerical person, and all you do is answer the phone. No, we have to have people that are more generalists that can do more things even with their expertise, that can cross some lines so that we can get more done. Mothers wear many hats. They can fix the garage door, they can cook dinner, they can mop the floor, they can change the baby, they can do it all. And I think that's what we're going to have to do as a city. We're all going to have to become multi-diversified as we get smaller, but do more. And those are some of the things I'm working with Miguel Santana. There's a small core of us general managers that can retire, that are not afraid to say what we have to say to the leadership, because as many of you know, it is very difficult to speak truth to power, because power oftentimes doesn't want to hear the truth, so you have to speak it. But I've always spoken it. I've always never been afraid to say the truth, because the truth reigns. I mean, I could delude you all I want to, but in the end of the day, there is truth to things that will come out. Or as my grandmother used to say, what you do in the night comes out in the day. And it does. You can hide it as much as you want to, but it will. But this situation in the city is dire. It is not a joke. There are people that are very stressed by it. There are people, and I'm not trying to say that they should, that you should feel sorry for them, but I think you need to understand the morale level that's there and the reality that's there. Many of us are a little concerned about how close to the edge people are in the city. I mean, the city employees have never suffered anything like this. They may have never had a COLA, or they may have dealt with a situation where they, had to take a few days off or do something like this, but they've never had salary cuts. They've never dealt with the fact they may face layoffs of any mass numbers. And they also have never dealt with the fact that the people they always look to in mass numbers will never be there. I mean, all of us have people we've looked up to in our careers, and we're always glad that they're there. And you may have one or two that leave after many years of service. But now, I'm looking at people, when I look at that list of ERIP employees that I've worked with from the day I started with the city. From the very day, the people I can just pick up the phone and call and say, hey, John, can you do this for me? I know, and he'll take care of it. I even told the council, and one time I said, the very people you have on speed dial in your cell phones, those people will no longer be there. They don't even call me. They call Alan Willis, or they'll call Glenn O'Gore. They'll pick up the phone and they'll call whoever they want. But not only are we losing the top layers of people, but we're losing many layers below those people. And even in DOT it's what one would say is gutted. And a lot of people are leaving because they don't know what to expect when they stay. They don't want to be there to rebuild it, or they're too old and too tired to rebuild it. So I expect fully for the blog, your publications and things to be very critical, and I can deal with that. And I don't blame you for being angry. I'm angry myself. And it's like Carolyn gave me Mr. Eberhardt's article from the other day, and I felt like I had ghostwritten it myself. It's like I could have said some of these same things, because this is the frustration from even the leadership in the city. And I told the mayor, point blank, on Thursday when I saw him at the MTA, that I would be making this announcement today. And he said he understood. He understood. He wasn't happy about it, because he was very happy with the progress we had made. But he understood because he knows that many things in the city will not be the same. That doesn't mean we won't ever have an MOU. It just means we won't have one now until I know what we have left, till I know what I can commit to. What are we going to have as our base of operation? Is there going to be a Department of Transportation? I don't know. It just may be a planning department, and the planning department may pick up some of these things, But I really want you to do at least three things. I want you to closely watch the budget process.